Greetings, Benjamin J from BENZTRAINZ with another in the series. Well, on the workbench, as you see, with that Canadian Pacific shell that arrived the other day, missing the handrails, missing the markers, and someone has really bent this pilot, as you see. Really bent it. It was probably shorting on the track. So rather than adjusting the motor mount in the back or the front, and making sure that it isn't bent, they just bent the entire pilot up. So I'm going to see if I can repair this using our old friend parallel jaw pliers. You can't do this with standard pliers, but you sure can do it with this. Maybe, we'll see. So it'll never be invisible, but I think it will be at least usable. We'll see. So it's just a matter of slowly going around this and trying to reestablish that original radius. This has been really bent. As you can no doubt tell. So using both hands to put some pressure on this, try to bring it back into some semblance of order. Okay, so I've got the bottom radius pretty much flattened out to get the curl out of it anyway. Now, I'm going to try to reestablish that radius on the front. Whether we can or not, difficult to say. Going to be interesting to see. So we'll go to the center and squeeze it. And squeeze it. As we go around, like I said, trying to reestablish that original radius on this. And as you see, it's slowly coming back into shape. Now, it's never going to be perfect again. Once it's bent, it's bent. But you can at least get that curl out of it. And you can sand this and then paint it black. And with textured paint, it will hide most of the damage. Of course, you can replace it, but that costs money. All right, so it was really majorly tweaked, but already we've got the radius reestablished, as you can see. So like I said, this will never be perfect again. You can spend some time and actually get this fairly well straightened out. You can see that it's completely tweaked. It's actually the entire pilot is bent down on this side. So obviously it was dropped. Rather than realizing what they were doing and actually straightening where it's damaged, they just bent the pilot up, which would work, but it just destroys the pilot. Anyway, you spend about, I don't know, 10-15 minutes going around this in small increments, getting the bend out of it where they bent that front of the pilot up. And then once you get that established, you can go back and actually repair the damage that they should have repaired rather than bending the pilot. But as you see, little by little, it's coming back into some semblance of its original shape. Like I said, you can replace this, but with a bit of due diligence with these pliers, you can get this re-rounded, get most of the damage out, and sand it and paint it to flat black so it doesn't reflect. You'll never know it was damaged. Anyway, as you see, it's already a vast improvement. So it just really depends on how much time you want to spend doing this. Anyway, just in the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes, we've got most of the damage out of it. And then you have to go by and get the dings and the dents out, little bites with those pliers all the way around to reestablish that radius. And then you address where the damage actually is, where it's actually bent is up here rather than there. Anyway, that was an expedient. They just bent that up so it wasn't scraping the track when they should have addressed the problem where it was actually damaged from being dropped. As you see, simply by squeezing it in, I don't know if you can see this on the camera, if you squeeze it on the sides, it actually changes its relationship to the track, as you see. So that's where the damage was. This entire thing was bent down, so rather than actually repairing where it was damaged, they just bent up the pilot. Really bad way to repair it. It gets it running, but it just destroys its value and its looks, of course. Anyway, like I said, these opposed jaw pliers, parallel jaw pliers, whatever you want to call them, these things are great for doing stuff just like this. You can't use regular pliers to do this. Grab this with a pair of pliers, you put a big kink in it. This way you're actually addressing a fairly good portion of this at one time, so it won't kink. And it actually brings back the original radius. So what I'll do is re-bend this where it was originally dropped, and that will bring its shape back. But as you see, we've already got it started quite well. Like I said, once you get all these little dings out of it, you can sand this, spray it flat black with flat textured paint. If it doesn't reflect, you'll never know there was any damage to it. Anyway, I just want to do a quick video on a really super simple way to repair a pilot that has been bent. And you see this quite often, actually, on the Canadian Pacific. If you drop it and actually bend the pilot, it starts shorting on the rail. So anyway, again, where it's bent is right here. The entire thing is flared out and bent down on this side. That's why it was dragging the rail. So rather than actually repairing the damage, they just bent the pilot up. But as you see, it already looks 1,000% better than it did. So anyway, it's just a really, really simple trick. These pliers are worth their weight in gold when it comes to doing stuff like this. If a cab is bent, really, really simple. Even on cast locomotives, if you're careful. Anyway, I just want to do a quick video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.